Hello, 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 everyone. This is attempt 2. It said that I didn't have any internet. Let me go live, but I didn't have any internet. This is Everyday Rituals. I am your host, Angela, and today we are talking about healing music in our everyday rituals. So this is a series that I do here in the co-op where I talk to you, and you can check out the units, right? Where I talk to you about different elements that you can incorporate into your everyday rituals. So this series has been going on now for a few months. And today I really want to talk to you about how to leverage music in your everyday rituals. So before I dive into that, let's do two things. One, introduce yourself to me. Chances are if you're catching this, you're catching it on the replay. So still say hey to me in that conversation box so I can say hey back to you. And if you are catching me live, say hey to me. Let me know where you're joining me from. What's the weather like? So here in Cleveland, it's snowing. And I said we're going to do two things. So I am going to introduce myself to all of you here in a second. But first, let's tell some of our friends that we're having this conversation. So I told some of my friends. Did you tell some of your friends? So again, my name's Angela. I go by Angela K, or the Creatrix online, and I love helping women connect in to the ancient sacred traditions and wisdom of the moon and following the moon in their life, the seasons of the earth. I am an intuitive, a medium, a healer, and a coach here. And so I love talking and sharing about ritual, because ritual is really a way that we can start to be very strategic about the energy that we want to bring in. Hey, Heather, thank you. About the energy we want to bring into our life, being very intentional about cultivating the energies in our life. And we can do that through ritual by being very intentional with our actions, by choosing which elements of our day, like we're really going to spend some time with ourselves, with our soul, with Spirit Squad, with all of those things. So that's why we do this show. So today is particularly about how to bring in music in general, but then also Solfeggio, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. What that is, it's healing frequency. You may have seen people posting about healing frequency. You may have seen me post about like a playlist with different healing frequencies, different types of music. But so my good friend Tiara, if you know Tiara, let her know that we're having our conversation about her. She said to me the other day, like, hey, have you thought about actually talking to people about this, like in your series? And I was like, I have not, but that's a really good idea. So that is what inspired this particular episode. Heather says, I'm excited for this conversation. I love that, Heather. I'm excited too. So first of all, music is healing for a number of reasons. And today I want to talk to you about it from sort of an energetic sort of standpoint, because that's a lot of what we talk about here in the co-op is energy. So literally everything's energy. Your energy, I'm energy, this mason glass is energy, the coffee inside of it has a different energy, and all energy is measured through something called frequency. So we have energy, and energy is measured through frequency. Hey T, I was just talking about you. Hello, 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 Laura, how are you? And then, so energy measured by frequency, and frequency is measured as hertz. So just like you might use pounds or kilograms or whatever it is to measure the weight of something, we measure frequency by hertz. Okay, so when you start to lean in and learn about the healing frequencies of music, you'll see that it's measured in hertz. So that's a little science behind this. But so everything's energy, which means that we can use music to shift our energy, our frequency. So in addition to music being energy and everything else being energy, your emotions are energy. Each of your organs has a different vibration that it vibrates at. That's frequency, right? How often and how quickly it vibrates within a set amount of time. So when we start to understand that literally everything's energy and literally everything has a frequency, then we can start to understand how we can use something like music where we're inviting in a frequency to shift our own frequency. So let's stop using the word frequency for a second and talk about how this actually looks in practice. So I said at the beginning of the video, I was going to talk about music overall, and then I was going to move it into Solfeggio. Music overall has been used for centuries, right? Thousands and thousands of years by humans to communicate and express ourselves, to communicate words, to communicate what is actually frequency. When we're talking about expressing ourselves, we're talking about feelings, emotions, states of being, spiritual states of being. And so when we're talking about how to express ourselves through music, that's what we're hearing. We're hearing that someone else has expressed themselves, whether it's through drumming, right? Or whether it's through a story in the music, through lyrical music. There's lots of different ways to express yourself. So, how many of you have a song that makes you cry? Traveling Soldiers by Dixie Chicks. That is the first one that comes to my mind. I know I have a song that absolutely makes me cry. So what that tells me is that if I have something inside myself that I feel like I need to get out, right? Like I'm anxious or I'm nervous or I'm just kind of not feeling super grounded in my skin, I know that one of the ways for me to release energy is through tears. Tears are one of the most powerful ways for us to release energy. So I know that it doesn't matter if what I'm feeling is actually about what the song's talking about. I know that I can put that song on, it will help me cry, which will help me move that energy out of me. Okay, so that's one way. We can find a sad song. But we can also find songs that make us move, right? That make us like groove and dance in our chair. Do you have a song like that? Let me know what your like happy song is. I have a song like that, right? Like I have a couple of songs like that. One is Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls, right? Like I love that song. Like it just makes me dance, it makes me move. So here's the thing about frequency when we talk about laws of the universe. There's this law called law of resonance that says that anything that's in one frequency can't exist with something in another frequency. So let's use another example when we're talking about laws of resonance to really help you understand. Have you ever heard that maybe when you're growing up, you heard that like you are the culmination of your 5 closest friends? So growing up, I always heard like you are who you hang around with. And this has to do not only with what we're learning from them in socialization, but also with frequency. So if we're surrounded with a bunch of people who maybe are not in a super high frequency or they're more negative Nancy's, right? Then that tends to pull our frequency down. But we can also hang out with people and it matches like frequency. So law of resonance says that your frequency is going to match. Either you're going to match someone or something, or it's going to match you. So bringing it back to music, when we are in this like jamming song where we want to dance, right? We literally cannot hold a frequency of being sad or upset and at the very exact time be feeling all the moves to our music. Like we can't do that. It's literally impossible for you to hold both frequencies in your body at the same time. So one way that you can start to bring, or a second way, because we talked about one way already, a second way that you can start to bring music into your everyday rituals, right, is to start to purposely figure out like, how am I feeling and how do I want to be feeling? And how can I shift myself to how I want to be feeling? So if I'm feeling like, I might find myself a playlist that's going to, so you can use it to help you express, right, and release, or you can use it to help you raise your vibration. So music does a lot of different things that we can use in our everyday rituals. Let me know if this is making sense. Deanna says, September makes me want to dance. I love that. All right. So that is how we can use music overall. Okay, 2 ways, like there's so many other ways, but it's 2 specific ways that we can use music overall to shift our frequency. So this might look like in the morning, maybe you have a song that you want to listen to, or like a playlist so you don't get tired of the same song that you want to listen to, because you're choosing what you want your day to look like. You're choosing what your ideal day is. You're choosing the vibration. As soon as you get out of bed, you're saying to yourself, how do I feel and how do I want to feel? And what can I use to shift myself so that I'm in that place today? And so maybe for you, part of that is jamming out to a song while you're making your coffee or brushing your teeth or taking a shower or whatever that is, right? Maybe at the end of the day, you ask yourself, like, how am I feeling? And maybe if you're feeling kind of gunked up, you're like, man, I just need to have a good cry and get this stuff out. And then to switch over to like the high vibe sort of music to kind of raise my vibration. So 2 ways we can use it. So I said I want to talk to you about music overall, but I also said I want to talk to you about solfeggio. 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 So solfeggio is their frequencies, their specific frequencies that are associated with and used and have been used for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? Tones in music that have a specific frequency that have been used to help heal us, heal our body, heal us spiritually, heal us emotionally, heal mental things going on. So solfeggios are specific resonance, specific tones that resonate at a certain frequency that we can then utilize to call in healing. with intention, with purpose. Okay? So solfeggios have been connected to ancient Christianity. They've been connected to pre-Christian traditions. They've been connected to Sanskrit. They've been connected to Tibetan monks. They've been connected to so many ancient things. Like they're so much older than you or I, right? And maybe even some of our souls. Yes, Michelle says tuning forks. Tuning forks are a resonance, right? They bring in a certain tone. So that's a good example, Michelle. So solfeggio frequencies, right, really came back into popularity in the 1970s with a gentleman, a doctor named Joseph Puleo, right, who really started to study this and started to really bring it back into our unity consciousness, back into conversation, really helping people start to understand that these things have been around for a very long time, but how we can use them purposefully. So when we start to understand that you and I and everything is energy, and when we start to understand that different emotions are energy, and we start to understand that there's an energetic system, our chakra system, and our meridians that run through our body, and those each have a frequency, and then we understand that there are certain tones, certain notes that also have frequency that correspond to certain chakras, that correspond to certain states of being, that correspond to certain energies, we can start to understand law of resonance and understand how when we play these frequencies, it starts to literally shift the frequency in our body. So Tiara mentioned that I posted a playlist in here, right? I did. I posted a playlist of music and drumming and solfeggios or frequency music and all of the things. So one of my favorite ways to use this in my everyday rituals is to use it like white noise, to have it playing behind me, to choose to look at different solfeggios. And you can find this online, and I'll post an image in here later of different levels of frequency. Different levels of frequency are associated with different chakra systems and different emotions we want to have, like unconditional love and healing and forgiveness, right? Which is, when we look at all of them, they're also associated with certain chakras, which are associated with certain organs, because this is getting really deep, kind of into the weeds, but all of this stuff starts in our energetic field. It starts as energy and then it moves in. So if you're having a problem, right, like I have an issue in my gallbladder right now, right? If you're having something show up physically in your body, that started as energy, which means we can use energy. We can use solfeggio to begin to shift out of that experience, to start to shift where we want to be, how we want to be feeling. So solfeggios, the frequency, purposeful intention, means that we can incorporate this into our everyday rituals, which is what this entire show is about. So that means, for instance, maybe you play solfeggios at night. Maybe some of you are like, I have a partner who doesn't want me to play solfeggios at night. That's okay. They make little earbuds or headbands that have earbuds in them so that you can be immersed in this healing sort of vibration frequency music very lightly, very, very faintly in the back. Maybe you want to play it during the day, right? So I listen to solfeggios often during the day. Maybe you want to listen to them while you're in the shower. Maybe you want to listen to them while you meditate. There's so many different options of different ways that you can bring the healing power of solfeggio and solfeggio frequencies into your everyday rituals, into your body. So the key with everyday rituals, and I talk about this a lot, is intention. So when we're talking about our everyday rituals, things that we're going to do every day, it's what is the intention? What is the goal? Where are we headed? And how are we going to get there? So with an everyday ritual, you are consciously, intentionally cultivating practices in your life and then starting to stack practices so that you can shift your frequency, so that you can manifest, so that you can do all of these things. So these are just a few of the ways that you can use music in your everyday rituals, whether it's the solfeggio or whether it's hip hop or country or opera or whatever feels good to you, right? There is so much space in this world for us to start to really intentionally choose music that shifts our vibration. So I'll ask you here at the end of this conversation, how are you going to use music today or this week to start to purposely cultivate the vibration, purposely cultivate your rituals, purposely call in the life that you want to live, the life that you're meant to live, to get closer to your highest self, right? with that, I'm going to pop off of here. This is a much longer conversation than we can have in one live, but this is an introduction, right, to different ways that you can start to use music in your everyday rituals. With that, hugs and kisses, everyone. Stay wild, Moonchild.